Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, fellow panelists. I think it took me 2-3 minutes to comprehend when we first got the invite looking at the topic, right? It talks about zero trust, it talks about intelligence, it talks about AI, right? And today, go to any meeting, if you don't use these words, then and if you're a IT, cyber, digital professional, you would think you're not sitting in the right meeting. Uh, Pick up any newspaper, first page news once a week is either a AI-led innovation which is changing the world, hopefully, after wheel, the biggest invention, or is a cyber attack, right? And then comes the entire discovery around what is zero trust, etc., etc. I think today, uh, in the next 40 minutes, what we'll probably do is start with some opening comments and then do a quick round of Q&A. So let me start from there. Mohit, your initial comments, please.
Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. And yes, Jaspreet, you rightly mentioned today AI intelligence and these things largely have started sounding like a FOMO for everyone, right? If you're not there, so there's something missing out. But nonetheless, before I actually jump onto the topic, I'm Mohit Srivastava. I'm CISO and DPO with Perfios. We are a SaaS-based company, cloud-born, doing a lot of work on data intelligence and AI. So this topic remains very close to my heart, and since I take care of the security, so obviously this becomes my role and responsibility as well. Uh, so this topic is very pertinent in today's world. Uh, Still, it's a very disruptive stage which we are into. We are seeing a lot of frauds coming, evolving because of this. And as I say, only a diamond can cut a diamond. So we have started adopting AI to ensure how we can counter such type of an attacks, right? We have started seeing synthetic identities. We have started seeing a lot of attacks appear happening due to AI evolvement and things like these. So, in short, there are multiple use cases, but the performance indicators are yet to be ascertained, which I think would take some time. I think that should also one area should be on the governance, what the government regulations and all, which it will shape up. So,
Right. And I think there's been a lot of movement, at least on the intent of the government to come up with governance frameworks. But I liked your point. Is it AI for cyber or cyber for AI? Maybe we can discuss this
we'll do that. Sure.
when we come back. Aman, your initial comments, please.
Yes, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aman. I am a security global black belt at Microsoft. And what he just commented, I swear I didn't tell him that, but that's what I am doing at least for last 3 years.
AI for cyber or cyber for AI?
So what for last 2 years I've been doing is how to use AI in security. But now, to be honest, full time, my only focus is how do we secure AI. So now I want to give a fresh perspective to all of you as well. Although today we are talking about security, when we look at AI, it can be of four types if you ask me. One, it can be for security that you are using. It can be a phishing agent. It can be for triaging. It can be threat intelligence, whatever you can use. One is for productivity, like there is AI in emails, in PPTs, in Excel, everything, right? The third is for your end customer. Like for example, if you are Air India, how can you use AI for your customers? If you are Kotak Mahindra Bank, how can you use AI for your end customers? And the fourth can be how can you create something with AI that you can sell and earn some money as well, right? So if a leader of an organization, he or she will look at AI in these four ways. And when we all as security practitioner, we see this four kind of AI, we think of two things. I need to protect all these four pillars and I need to do it responsibly and in a content safety way. So that's the maybe a perspective I will put, and then we will dig deep into as we move into the panel.
No, thank you, Aman. Really love the four use cases. I can't think of anything which falls out of these four, right? You've covered the entire universe from that perspective. Deepak, your initial comments, please.
Thank you very much. So I'm Deepak Rana. I'm Global CISO with Evalueserve. I'll respond this question in three different parts. One, primarily the traditional approach which everyone used to follow. Second one, the AI-driven approach. And third one, ZTNA. So in traditional ways, we used to respond to alerts, and it takes hours to respond to those alerts, which needs to be changed in current scenarios because threat vectors are emerging. Adversaries are using AI-driven tools and technologies to deal with or to penetrate into in our systems. We need AI versus AI. We need intelligent and smart tools who will work against those AI driven attacks so that we can reduce the mean time to respond, we can reduce the disruption which is happening on our ecosystem. For that, we need to have or we need to build a robust ecosystem that will work at different layers. And AI driven tools and technologies should be available at every layer so that we can make sure our systems are resilient at the end of the day. And we need best practices like zero trust is one of them, wherein we'll not be trusting anyone. We'll be verifying and re-verifying individuals, applications, and systems in order to make sure a robust ecosystem is in place.
Excellent. AI versus AI, right? I think it is time that I think UN changed its constitution about 8 years ago. Earlier, it was only air, water, and land. They added cyber as the fourth warfare.
Yep.
I think if you ask me, AI probably could be the fifth and the most potent warfare ever.
That's right.
Right? And thank you for that. And we'll come back to you. Dr. Jitendra, your initial comments, please.
So I think most of the points have been covered. For me, cyber came up after COVID. Okay, cyber was there. I'm not saying it is not there, but there are two eras before COVID, after COVID on the cyber. Before COVID, when I used to go to boardrooms, ask for the budget as a CISO. Board used to tell me, come next quarter. Okay. After COVID, they used to call me every month, okay, how much budget you want. So that is one thing. Similarly, when we see AI, AI has come after Gen AI, okay, Chat GPT. AI has been there from last 20 years, okay, in software industry, whosoever work in the software industry, we have been using AI, ML, the automation, RPA from the long, okay, and the process automation going on. So that is called the AI traditionally. The moment the Chat GPT come, the ability to basically generate the data by the AI tools which have been there, suddenly we see a lot of basically uptake into the AI-led solution which have been there. And I think as rightly pointed out, if you're in the cyber, if you're the traditional IT systems and the IoT system and the OT system, AI had led a different layer to it. In the sense, you need to protect the AI system because they generate the data and which algorithm as of now, they're not transparent how they generate the data. If you ask question 3 times, it will give 3 different answers to you. Okay, so that is one aspect. So for me, I think it is both way how to have cyber security for the AI systems. And of course, AI as of now, it is a lot of use cases have been basically experimented. I've not seen much use in the core business areas. Of course, AI is being used in the marketing and the other areas where you wanted to generate some kind of a reports or you wanted to create some new data. But I think operation, when we say production or we say the supply chain, we still have to see how the basically AI is going to impact that. But yes, how we can use AI into cyber, we see a lot of use cases into the cyber, how to protect ourselves, of course. So that is one area which I see that as of now.
Yeah, I think I was reading to both the points that you mentioned, right? I was reading a report somewhere saying your SOC, the Cyber Operations Center, the way we see it today, probably in 24 months will cease to exist. It will be completely autonomous using AI. And that's where the problem is, right? AI also needs, if there's a human monitoring something, you can put a guardrail, right? You can dictate what time he comes to office, what time he goes, what will he do, etc., etc. With the AI and the self-learning thing, you don't know where it's headed. And the second point, which you said at the start, is what really is an AI use case? A lot of people are doing just plain automation and also calling it AI. I'm sending an email, I get an auto out of office reply. People are saying, "Oh, I designed this using AI." Let's be real also on what is a real AI cyber use case versus what is just plain automation, which Dr. Jitendra, like you rightly said, has been existing from last 30 years. Thank you. Dr. Gaurav, your initial comments,
Yeah,
please.
so thank you. And I think I see this as lawful versus unlawful usage of technology because you can only do two things: either you are doing something good or you are trying to do something bad. And as we see, people who are the bad actors, they are fast adopters. They figure out their use case in much better manner and much faster manner. So I think the other side of the law enforcement and the good users, they have to be there on toes, right? And they have to figure out how to counter. So, so I think the uses, the ethics, and how responsibly we are using technology to give benefit to the mankind. That is something very, very important. So I think ethics, regulation, and some kind of standardization. These are the keys which will probably dictate how and how fast the benefits can be extracted rather than people who are trying to misuse it.
Yeah, I think that's uh, and frankly, I'm no expert in AI, but I think Dr. Gaurav, the most pertinent question everybody is asking today is what is ethical versus what is non-ethical. All of us sitting on a stage, somebody clicks a photograph and they could, using AI, change this photograph to anything, make it into a video, doing anything, right? So there've been cases that uh, I do some part of work with cybercrime said,
Yeah, so
and
that's where I think that the regulation will come into play, right? Whose responsibility is to make sure that the doctored photo does not go on social media? Can social media companies have a tool running in the background to figure out and highlight that the
like a bookmark or something,
yeah,
maybe
so that
maybe
is
a digitally secured SSID or something.
technological solution along with regulation because regulation will mandate it and technological solution will ensure that
And
you tag
consequences.
it
I
up.
think in India we have a lot of regulations, but we still somehow miss the implementation or the enforcement and the consequences of that.
Depends, I think things are changing very fast.
Yeah,
Laws are changing very fast these days. Once upon a
perfect.
time it was slow. Now we see a lot of changes at
So
a
we'll
very
come
rapid
back to
space. Yeah.
you on this, on what's changing. Manoj sir, your opening comments, please.
Good afternoon to everybody, all the guests and colleagues here. I think I'll go with the AI for cyber. There are a couple of reasons why I'm saying so. One is that the traction or the moments of adversaries in a couple of months, especially after COVID and during Indo-Pak issue and all, the adversaries are very well organized now, and they are much smarter, they are much agile, and they don't come at front door. So they don't come at perimeter. They sneak in through your devices, through your applications, through your many access mechanism through which you access application, or even for that matter, admin uses the CLIO scripting for the system admin and all. The answer is if the other side is actually AI driven, so we have to be responding through machine learning only. The kind of agility is required, the kind of subject matter expertise is required because if you see, and if you actually drill down to many incidents which happen, they typically happen in lean hours. And you can't expect all the SMEs sitting 24/7 with the same competence. There's no option but to replace or to complement subject matter expertise through learning orchestration by which you can respond them faster and protect your systems and applications. Thank you.
I think very important point, sir, that you made, and I think some of my friends CISOs would probably talk about the entire competence piece also. On it's very easy to pick up a technology every year and say today let's focus on NTFs. Next year talk about metaverse. Then talk about ZTNA. Today AI, quantum. We don't even know what kind of beast quantum will be, and maybe we'll deliberate on what kind of skill sets or mindset would you need to deal with some of those changes? But Manoj sir, I'll start the questions probably with you first. You're probably one of the most diverse public networks in the country today, right? How easy or difficult is it to implement ZTNA for such a vast and a divergent network?
Thank you. I think ZTNA is not a automation or is not a tool. ZTNA is a framework where we think like devil's advocate, a framework, a thinking where we think that everyone is or everybody can be an attacker. Plus, I come from conventional systems and all, and I always believe that automation alone is not the answer. The real transformation happens when you blend the contemporary thinkings and automation smartly. So I don't agree with that after 24 months, the cybersecurity or the SOC center will be people-less or man-less kind of thing. You'll always believe, you'll always need, you'll always require competency to give the direction to AI. AI is not something magical sword that can solve all of the problems. It needs learning, it needs handholding. It has to be told what action has to be taken at times. Else you may have some chaos happening if you build everything autonomous. So the ZTNA, coming to the ZTNA question, is that it is a framework which requires change management. And I have personally seen that while implementing ZTNA, people become very uncomfortable. The users, the admins, and everybody who is part of ecosystem. Because everybody questions that why it was happening, so why it has to happen in a different fashion now. So as we always say that life is all about change management, you have to handle it very well. You have to educate people, you have to educate customers, you have to make them aware what are the issues with the earlier part of things which we used to manage without ZTNA in a shape. And when you implement ZTNA, you have to think that how we bring the boundaries between the users and the admins. Because as I said earlier, that adversaries are sitting inside your system. Do not think that they will come through firewalls. They are part of your system. They are waiting for opportunity to knock you down. So you have to build defenses within the system. That how do you protect your different systems, your different data, your different backups. And yes, you have to also see that you isolate the machines which are encrypted. You have to give least privileges to the users for acting on system. You'll also have to give them just-in-time access. Let me give you an example. The admins of the applications, because we are a cloud service provider, the admins of the applications are given MFA with VPN and all. But nobody works at 3 a.m. in the morning. So why to allow all the admins full access 24/7? And answering your question particularly, specifically, that when I was implementing it, I said, let's block from 11 a.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning. And there was a lot of question by users as well as customers as well as the admins that why I'm being blocked. And I said it's a part of change management. If you need a certain access, you wake me up, you call me up, and I'll open access for you in a controlled fashion. But will not give you access throughout. So what I was saying that it's a principles and processes and practices and rigors as checks and balances which you have to implement. You have to implement as a change management. Thank you.
I think some very key points around change management and also just-in-time access. But again, the problem is the world that we are living in, AI, you can't control just-in-time access. And you said AI has no magic wand, but everybody sitting here probably will beg to differ. Today, every person who is implementing technology unfortunately does not know the extent at which AI will stop. It's like an iceberg. Whatever we see of AI is probably only 10, 15 percent. Uh, we've spoken about private sector a lot. Dr. Gaurav, uh, when METI, with the kind of infrastructure that they're dealing with, GST, Aadhaar, etc., how do you implement cybersecurity measures using AI or AI for cyber or cyber for AI from a government perspective? I think that will probably the single most difficult task.
Yeah. So, so what happens is, I think all these big implementations require, state of the art solutions, and a lot of consultations happen. It's not that somebody decides just like that. So a lot of consultative process is undertaken so that you can choose what are the best solutions which exist, how you can ensure that because data security remains the paramount, right? All those data which is being generated, which is being stored, I think the security is very, very important. So I think state-of-the-art solutions based on discussions and with the available technologies are used. Systems are upgraded, ahead of time. Then a lot of, as I talked about, government undertakes a lot of public consultation to make regulations and to figure out what kind of problems are there. So we get a lot of data, a lot of inputs based on what kind of attacks are being planned. So all those investigative agencies, all the implementing agencies, they gather a lot of data and understand what kind of attacks are being done, undertaken, and accordingly remedial measures are being planned. And there are a lot of automation and AI usage which is there for ensuring cybersecurity. So we have organizations like Computer Emergency Response Team, CERTAIN, we have NCIPC, and there are various other organizations. Their role and job basically is to figure out what kind of attacks and what are the attack vectors, who are the threat actors, and from where they are attacking. So lot of intelligence and lot of analysis is being done by these organizations, and those inputs are being used while designing and developing and maintaining the systems. So that is something which is very,
And
very
that's a
important.
that's a very very valid point, right? Uh, I think the biggest thing about AI is it's as intelligent as the data that you feed it in. Forget its self-learning capabilities. It will only start if you put the basics in right. If you start ingesting feeds from certain NCIPC or other global best practices, I'm pretty sure the systems would then continuously evolve. So we've covered RailTel, we've covered government. Dr. Jitendra, probably the most something where the term that I use is what could go wrong, could be massive, is defense, aerospace. Two major sectors where your organization deals in. What's your perspective about the use of AI in these sectors, and how critical is the entire cyber piece? Because what can go wrong can be human lives at a minimum.
Yeah. So from the sector perspective, uh, we look at cyber from perspective what are we protecting. Okay. So for us, the data classification is very, very important. I think for every organization, for every industry for that matter. When you talk about cyber, cyber is protecting something. What is we are protecting is data. And when we talk about data, I think I've not seen, I work with various organizations in my 35 years. What we see that most of the organization doesn't have a data classification policy or the data policy, because you don't have to protect all data. Okay, you need to have a very clear classification, what is the critical data for you, what is confidential, or what is public, what is internal to you, kind of this thing. So that is one piece which we as an organization focus on that. And of course, defense, when we work with the defense of the aerospace, it is through MOD, and we have got certain guidelines from them, so we follow those guidelines. So for us, data classification is very, very important, and we automate that data classification because our team works across the country, and as part of a manufacturing company, we work with a lot of vendors. Okay, so then you need to basically percolate those kind of a data classification and the security policy to them also. So third-party risk management, I'll not talk about here, but I think that is very important to us as an organization. That is one piece. So this is one piece which you look into that. Second, since we work with the very, very critical data, when you say critical data in the sense the design and the which is developed by DRDO, which is critical to our weapon systems and the aerospace kind of a thing which have been there. So we need to protect that, and so we focus on the micro segmentation. I think everybody knows that it is only selected people who have got access to them, and we keep them in a separate network and the other people in the separate network. So that is another piece which we focus on. Third, we focus on the training part very, very heavily, because how to use the data, and if God forbid if something happen, what is the basically incident management which happens. So that is a very critical part of our process. So this is about the cyber piece which have been there. Of late, after the chat GPT came, we have got a lot of requests from our organization also that we would like to use Gen AI tools, not about chat GPT, other tools which have been there, to increase the productivity. There are some use cases which we are right now experimenting, and we are doing in a controlled manner. This is, in fact, these are, as of now, we are doing the air gap network. We can't let AI get into our basically production network for that matter. As you can understand the reason for that, which is there. Some of the interesting use case which we have seen and which are very, very productivity, I can share one. In our basically industry, we got a big manual, okay? Because we are a very, very process-driven industry. So if you need to basically build a component, there will be around, I think, 2,000-page manual for that. And if you give that manual to your on shop floor, it is difficult to remember for everything. So AI has helped us to basically come out with the concise that manual to basically a cheat sheet kind of a thing. So those are some of the things which are done. Again, it is non-core areas which we are experimenting as of now, because we still have to figure out what are the impact going to happen for our IT system for that matter. Being in the industry, we go slow on this kind of a thing as of now. So that is our experience as of now.
I think, Dr. Jitendra, the IT piece would still be easier to manage, right? The operational technology piece that your organization would deal in would be even more difficult, because I don't think so AI would have a very large role to play there. Or
so as of now, as I mentioned to you, of course, non-core area, you can see AI usage. Of course, AI usage in the security operation, we see a lot of potential in the sense. User behavior, reconciliation of the user behavior, looking at the threats. I think everybody knows that any threat which initiate from the phishing side, which have been there, training side, we do a lot of red teaming, blue teaming exercise. So we use AI for that purpose. But if you say AI in the core business area, IoT, OT, we don't see much as of now. Maybe I think when we sit here after 2 years, maybe there will be some use cases which will be there. But sitting today, as of now, we don't see any.
And maybe after 2 years, we wouldn't need humans on the stage. There will be 5 bots doing a panel discussion.
2 years will be too short a time, but I think.
Yeah, let's see. With that, coming to you, Deepak, and I'm just extending the conversation here. SOC, right? We spoke about automation of SOC, etc., etc. But do you think 24 months, 31, 36 months down the line, humans will still be relevant from a SOC perspective, and across the layers?
Okay, so SOC, like in my organization or in the previous organization where I have worked, every tool is now AI driven, be it my EDR, my SOC, or maybe...
Nobody buys a tool which has no AI
if you don't talk about AI, you are irrelevant.
Yeah.
But the tools which are AI enabled, they are helping individuals. I'm not saying they will replace individuals or humans at the end of the day, but what they can do here is they will replace all L1 activities, which is primarily the monitoring or maybe doing some sort of initial triages. This is what they can manage, because nowadays what is happening, we get hundreds, millions of alerts every second. So what is happening here is, like in my organization, I'm getting thousands of alerts in a second. So a person who is sitting at L1, they will not be able to respond to those alerts. They will not be able to correlate what is important for us, what is not important for us. What AI is helping is just by looking at the context and analyzing what is important based on the relevance or the telemetry which is there in my ecosystem, they are taking some sort of actions. But what I feel here is the L3 activities, where individual will monitor those activities and perform those downstream actions. That is needed, because you can't rely on AI. What if AI fails?
Yeah, nobody's answering that question today. but nobody's asking this question in the first place.
So downstream actions which my SOC or my SOAR capabilities will do, a human intervention is needed. So two different terminologies, human on the plate or human on the system or human in the system.
Wow.
On the system is primarily who is just monitoring reports for L1 activities, and human in the system sitting within the system and analyzing the response and the triggers and then taking downstream actions for all critical activities. Like forensics, my person will do, who is sitting at L3, not AI who is trained to work in a specific fashion.
Excellent.
And for that, what we need is we need to keep up with the pace. Different technologies are coming in, different best practices are coming in. What we need is we need to train our individuals on various best practices, on AI capabilities, so that they understand how my tools is working, what they are capable of, what they are not capable of. And accordingly, they'll take their human judgment and take downstream actions.
Perfect. You learn something every day. Human on the system, human in the system. Human in the system will never be replaced. Or even if, replaced, I don't think so. We'll give them the AI enough powers to take decisions which should be taken actually by humans in the system. Sorry, Aman, I'll just come to you, coming to you, Mohit. An extension, right? Millions of, threat alerts per second. Data analytics, since you mentioned in your opening saying data analytics is very, very important. How will this entire AI-driven data analytics help in looking at data privacy, looking at compliances, and what are you doing at Perfios?
Sure. So, Jaspreet, thanks for bringing it up.
Mohit, closer.
Okay.
Thank you.
See, for us, we have been doing a lot of work when it comes to AI. And I just try to give you certain aspects. There was a touch point upon certain regulatory requirements where today we provide video KYC solutions. We have started observing so many synthetic identities started propping up. Means someone applying for the loan on your behalf, and you would not be there, kind of. So we have started, and regulator has already taken a cognizance of the fact. Rebate has came up with the guidelines. We have all regulated, and I'm really proud to state that today in India we have solutions which can identify. We are one of our offerings. I give you another example. There is another thing which was used to be identity theft is well known across, right? Today, credit theft has started happening. For example, just with you have a very great credit history. I want to take a loan. I'm a fraudster. I'll use your credit history and try to apply for a loan. These are all have started being done through the AI part of it. To give you how the AI is helping us as well as the organizations across BFSI, something which was being taken to identify. The underwriter used to sit back and map and identify such transactions in order to underwrite a loan. Used to take days. It has started happening in 58 seconds. Now imagine the growth, which is the impetus it is giving to the industry, right? And that's where the AI has started playing a very pertinent and important role. Another very interesting cross section which we have observed is cyber fraud and of financial fraud. All the financial fraud, maximum of them, have started piggybacking on the cyber fraud. And that's the point of cross section we have started identifying and trying to stop. I would not say the maturity of the solution is still there, but trying to identify and stop. So there are multiple areas which we have already started working upon. The CAM related solution and the KYC related solution. We have really phenomenal application of AI which we have observed, fraud side of it. Even in I just try to touch base on the cyber side of it. On the cyber front, and one of the gentlemen mentioned about during Operation Sindoor, within few minutes we observed thousands of IOAs and indicator of compromises coming to us. Who is going to verify those? Who is going to validate those? We have we implemented an internal threat management solution which was proactively identifying and ensuring that what are the relevant and also filtering all the noise from the system. So kind of use cases which we have implemented both for internal productivity as well as the customer use. And I'm really proud to mention that industry is really reaping value out of it. There's still a lot of maturity to brought in, because another threat aspect or the threat landscape is about data poisoning, how AI is being poisoned, and we have to ensure that it is not being used as one of the target, as what we are, the solution which we are providing should not become the problem.
Enabler for that. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's where we stand today.
No, I think excellent points. I think data poisoning is for real, right? And what will happen is then that AI will, instead of working for you,
it will start working against you.
Work against you.
That's good.
And throw up so many false positives that you will not identify.
True.
Right? And for that, you can't have an AI for an AI like a maker-checker control, and it could spun up so much of data that you'll get lost in it.
That's
right? And I think that's there is some government or RBI framework that they're developing on data poisoning also. I hope it sees light of the day pretty soon. But thanks for bringing that up. Aman, we've discussed everything on the panel, and I'm going to give you last 4 minutes with a question and to do the closing. We've not spoken anything about ethics, transparency. How are you seeing this entire world from a vantage point where you sit? When you're deploying AI, how do you look at ethical, transparency, and other considerations, especially in cybersecurity? Like what happened, I'm sure everybody sitting here would have heard the news of what happened in the Rajkot hospital, right? Where just through a CCTV camera, they took some feed, AI modified it, the videos, and ran all over the world, right? There's a huge ethics issue involved there. Your thoughts, please.
Yeah, in fact, everybody wants to use AI, and I was listening to all use cases. And honestly, my role is to evaluate risk, security controls, and I end up being the person who always put some guardrails or some blockers to make people stop using AI, although I don't want anybody to not use AI. But just taking an example from what Deepak said, just like, for example, if my internal SOC team, they have 50 people, and they have now, for example, in Microsoft, we use around 35 agents that we have built. Now, I will take a pause there. I will also say, when we say AI, again, AI can be of 3 types. I keep saying types, but one can be like in the OT side, mostly robotics and RPAs and all. One is like ChatGPT, your Groks, your Geminis, which is models, where you put something, you give an instruction, it will give an output. And the third thing is agents, where you expect an agent to do some task or do some decision making. So there are 3 kind of these things, and that's how we have to define controls for it. So coming back to the example, imagine if there are 50 people in the team and there are 35 agents. So I will look at it as 85 employees. I will think of it as 50 human employees and 35 machine employees. And for example, if Jaspreet, you are one of the security SME, and you have 2 agents, so I need to ensure that those agents have zero trust, or you can say the RBAC that are applicable to you. That agent should not do much more or beyond what you can do as an individual as well, because those are your machine children, I might call it.
Yeah.
Right? And then I will take one step more down. You define an agent for a task. So for example, if you have defined or you have built an agent for phishing, so we have a thumb rule that says n+3. That means I will only allow agent to go till 3 steps and then I cut it off. Right? That means if a user has reported phishing, and agent can review it, triage it, maybe maximum go till identity to verify the user, not beyond that. So then that's where the guardrails come in, that's where the risk assessment comes in. And coming to the ethics point of view, AI is a very unique technology because it helps you with productivity, use cases, save time, a lot of use cases that we discussed, I think bringing days to seconds. But that's where you need to also ensure that you have trust and content safety. When I say content safety, like the IOAs and IOCs, right? During Operation Sindoor, because that topic came up, if anybody of you went to Twitter, 90% of the information was false, which was going on, right? So, one, you need content safety when you are putting something in the tool, in the agent. Whatever is coming should not be biased, should not be a sexual content, should not be biased towards any individual, should not have any poisoning done on it. So there, just to give an example, there are 55 evaluators that generally companies put. Now RBI has come up with a requirement that you need a responsible AI dashboard. So ethics and content safety. So we call it responsible AI. These two are very, very strong pillars. So anyone, if you are implementing AI or you are defining a AI policy, please start by design implementing responsible AI and content safety. And you have to define parameters, zero trust framework, RBAC, basically everything that is required. Now I gave the example of agent, maybe 10 more seconds. I didn't touch upon models. So when we come to models, which is like ChatGPT, Gemini and all, there is a thumb rule called DMU. So data model usage. So if you define ethics, your responsible AI parameters, your content safety parameters around these three pillars, you can ensure model security, right? So these are different ways you can build responsible AI framework. And I would say content safety, because content safety generally gets ignored with all the responsibility. So these two goes hand in hand. And I think everybody should start with it when they are defining AI policy and implementing AI.
Perfect. Thank you. And that's why a client of mine has stopped using the word called agents. They're saying it's now humanoids, because you tell them what to do, but if you ask the agent to do, if the complete task is 10 steps, you will only ask the agent to do 7 steps, 70%. 30% you still keep in your hand so that you can use ethics, transparency, put all those models in place. Please give a huge round of applause to all my fellow panelists. It was a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you.